I work with the Mahila Housing Trust, whose objective is to improve the housing, living, and working environments of poor women in the informal sector. We were working quite a lot with, construction sector, and also had Delhi as one of our work areas. And that's when we realized that, while Delhi generally also talks of air pollution, these women who were in the construction sector were exposed most because, construction is one sector which actually enhances the air pollution due to the activity. And despite the fact that, these women constitute about 50% of the workforce of the sector, they did not understand air. I mean, they saw air pollution because we initially started work in Delhi. So they saw it because in Delhi it's very, very visible, but they did not understand was one. Delhi does have a high level of air pollution, dialogue, but the dialogue actually is extremely elitist. It did not have the voices of informal sector, one, and forget women of that, Also, what was constantly, because we work on poor women, work with poor women on climate change issues, what constantly intrigued us and what we found was an issue of equity, was that when we talked of women's organization or organization working on women's issues, mostly there are organizations who are concentrated on say safety or violence or livelihoods and those kinds of traditional areas, at least with poor women, or say health and education. But it did not really go beyond to something which was, the current biggest issue, which was climate change. And not to say that these issues are, the traditional issues are irrelevant, they are still relevant, but absolutely no women's empowerment or, participation on such issues which are related to climate change. So that's what we chose to do. We started to look at women construction workers with whom we were working and to explain to them the entire science of air pollution. So what we did is we actually, trained them, and we also gave them handheld devices. They also had a larger issue because they could not take it to their construction sites. All of them, when we talked to them, actually mentioned that they feared losing their livelihoods, because the developer was providing them with livelihoods to talk about him, talk about these things to them very directly, So we actually began with giving them these handheld devices, and for them to start measuring exposure data at a very micro level. So, which actually means that they took these handheld devices, and everywhere that they went during the 24-hour day, they would measure, the air pollution, which could be at home, which could be, at their work site, which could be at their children's school. And we tried to get this micro level data, not from the viewpoint of actually data capturing scientifically, but more from a viewpoint of women being able to use such technologies and women understanding air pollution, and how, what is the harm that it is causing them. And then, bringing in their voices into the Delhi air pollution campaign. We were working with an organization called Purpose, and jointly we brought in the voices of these poor women once they understood air pollution into the Help Delhi Breathe campaign. We also worked with other labor unions who were working on construction issues. And in fact, one of the voice of the labor union was that, they were all working on, issues of labor with the government, where air pollution was absolutely, not talked of. And these was the sector where the workers all were very, very exposed to air pollution. After this kind of intervention, after awareness raising, after bringing in their voices, there were so many women in these areas who started using the Green Delhi app. We helped them download it. We also, helped them to, understand how it was operated and register complaints in the Green Delhi app whenever they, sort of saw air pollution in their areas or at their work sites. And one of the biggest source of air pollution, at least in slums, is the fact that when winter arrives, a lot of the slum dwellers actually, sort of burn the biomass waste, tires and other stuff to feel warm, and just because they don't have access to probably heaters that they require, and it is costly. Another interesting finding was that, when these women, some of the women observed that during early morning hours, around 2 or 3 a.m., the air pollution inside their house was much higher than the air pollution that they had encountered in Delhi during the day. And this was partly because their housing was very small, without ventilation. And also, they very rightly pointed out, also because their husbands were smoking during the night time and they were in the house, and that's what actually increased the air pollution considerably. So these were some of the observations, and what we were able to do is, we invited the government, and immediately after hearing the voices of these women, the government of Delhi declared a subsidy when they closed down the construction sites, during winter, to reduce air pollution. And our women, about 5,000 of them, actually, got access to these subsidies. The other key question that I want to leave here is that, all these women, so for example, the construction workers actually have a construction workers welfare board, and it has social security schemes also on health issues, but it would never think of something like providing subsidies for heaters to these poor women and slum areas so that the air pollution is reduced. And one of the things that the women also voiced to the government is that all slums in Delhi have LPG, connections. But the thing is, they say that at that point in time, post-COVID, the subsidy on the LPG gas connection was reduced heavily. So they all went back to burning biomass. So I think when we talk of social security schemes, we do not actually link air pollution with non-health issues. I mean, health is a very, very big and major criteria, but there are other issues like, heaters, like access to, LPG subsidies, which needs to be taken up. And these are not traditional social security schemes given by the welfare boards of informal sector or by the government. So that was one of the things which has come out very starkly, and we really do hope to expand our work with other women in informal sector like vendors and waste pickers who are much more exposed during the next phase. Yeah, thank you for giving me this opportunity.